All right, are you ready to hear this thing run? I certainly hope so, because I am too. And we're gonna get started right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man. In the last episode, we found that the tractor had 2 stuck valves. I tried to free them up from the top side to no avail, so I eventually just pulled the head. So you're gonna see all that footage right now. We're gonna have to figure out this problem. If the threads are no good in it, we're gonna have to replace that bolt. Because we gotta have an oil bolt. Oh. Well, that doesn't look bad at all. Things are looking up, friends. The valves feel like they're clean, but they're just stuck. This one's full of mud where it's been washing down in there, and I probably didn't do it any favors when I juiced it up the first time. But I think that might work again. So I'm gonna work on cleaning this up and see. Quite honestly, for just test purposes, I think I can spray some copper coat on this head gasket and go again. Copper head gaskets usually are somewhat reusable, so I think a good cleaning and we might have enough pieces to try this again. But I got to get those 2 valves unstuck, and by driving them back and forth or whatever I got to do. And then so on and so forth and forthwith, and you know the drill. All right, I might as well show you what I've found. Everything looks really good. I've cleaned up on it. Again, you see these little cracks between. That's a common thing. That's not a deal breaker. The head gasket will seal that. It all looks good. If it hadn't been for those stuck valves, it probably would have been fine. So I need to get, I don't have any stuff on hand. That's the sad thing. I'm not going to reuse a gasket without some sealer. So I also found that this freeze plug has popped out of the head, so we'll have to address that later on. And I've also noticed that somebody has probably pulled these sleeves before, because they took the time to punch mark them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. That one they didn't do a very good job. So why would you do that if you didn't take that out and put it back in? Hard to say what people come up with, but I think a little more cleaning here, and we'll be ready to go back together. I'm gonna have to look. I thought that I had gaskets, but I'm starting to question now whether I really do or not. I suppose I could scrounge up and find some used ones. It looks like the intake gaskets are still on there, but I'll need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All 6 of the exhausts are gone, and I see some have just disintegrated. So we might be tabled until I get some gaskets, but I would like to go ahead and get this sealed up again, so this isn't just sitting in the open. But I don't know if this is worthy of continuing to put this in one video, because my gosh, this video is getting to be over an hour long, because I've shot like 3 hours worth of footage over 2 days. So we might just call this one here, and I'll get some supplies and we will put her back together in the next one. But I don't see anything here that says it's not going to run. I mean, its big flaw is there's a crack in the side of the block in the water jacket, but that ain't nothing new either. There are ways to potentially fix that and make her go. So all right, so that brings us up to speed where we are. I've got back from town. Consequently, I spent like 3 hours cleaning up parts, just getting ready to go to this point. I've cleaned and tapped all the holes. I've wire wheeled all of the bolts. This one, that fitting pulled out, so I'm going to run a tap through it, and then I got a new fitting we're going to put in just to be sure that that's going to do what we want, because we don't want this to not put pressure up there. It looks pretty good, and I think it's going to be you know, I think it's going to go. I think what we did, having to take the head off, was a necessary thing. I think it gained us a lot more than if we had just tried the way we were. So, blessing in disguise, I suppose. Let's clean our surface here. Make sure that it's free of oil or whatever. Free of oil and antifreeze. I think everything else is ready to go. We'll do the same thing to the head. And yeah. All right, now before we get too far, I want to make sure that we understand something here. This is not the way that I would do all of this if this was a proven good motor that we were going to use every day. This is a motor out of a junkyard that we're trying to figure out if it's worth keeping. And so that's why we're doing stuff like reusing head gaskets, you see. Also, I should note that if this was not the metal type head gasket, we wouldn't be able to reuse it. But since it is, that's what we're doing. Now that I've gotten the copper on absolutely everything. Let's hope this is gonna work. We spent a long time trying to make it go. We need to make sure our gasket is still in the right place. Come on. Is it going? I think it is. Get out of here! Get out of here! Get out of here! I'm going to quickly stick these plugs back in loosely, just so we don't accidentally knock something into the holes. Now we don't need that hassle after everything we've done. These look like almost new plugs. I think it's snowing. I think I just saw a snowflake land on here. I also think this is one of the grimiest motors I've ever had apart for whatever reason. I'm going to do something that's a no-no, and you should never do this. I'm not tightening them. I'm just running them down. So I don't have to Alright, I gotta get my torque wrench, and and we'll get these run down to what they're supposed to be. All right, it's about 92 to 100 is what they're supposed to be, so we're gonna go somewhere in there, but we're not gonna go all at once. We're gonna start with about half. Now we'll jump it up. And you don't have to take my advice, and you don't have to do what I'm doing. You can do whatever you want and whatever order you want, and however much you want. Let's double check everything. I don't know if I did that one or not, but we'll double check them all. Triple check. All right. Son of a Knutson. We're getting back to where we were before we failed, you know. And another thing you can do or not do, I always turn my torque wrench down before I put it away. Seems like that would make it kind of last longer, you know. I'm supposing we'd be ready for some push rods. I don't know. I mean, you got to know, this is a junkyard engine, so we can't expect too much. But if it would run and pull itself around here, why then it's earned its spot to live, you know. And it can be, I can hunt pieces for it, and we can put it on the back burner. A running and driving tractor is always what do I want to say? I guess it's not up high on the priority list as one that doesn't run and drive. So sadly, if it runs better, it'll be lower on the priority list. That's just the way she goes. Get on there, yo. Those bovines are trying to get my attention by destroying everything, so sure. Here's one that's not quite like the others. That's our replacement one. But they're so close that even though they're slightly different, they're made slightly differently, but they're the same length. It'll work. All right, everything is in its place. This is going to need attention now because it's not, and of course I don't have the right thing. Yeah, this motor is nasty, friends. It is nasty. This is the kind of thing where you destroy the fitting. Yeah. I thought it would play nice and just get itself around there. And stop with that. I'm trying to keep her clean as I go, but like I said, this thing is nasty. I don't know why it's so nasty. The last guy just did not clean it or change the oil probably very often. But now's the time. I mean, the crankcase is full of fresh, clean oil, and here we are raking dirt and stuff in it. It's good enough to try it. I'm gonna have to do a little work though on these rocker arms. They're just too nasty. Let me do that and I'll bring you. All right, as much as I would enjoy beating a dead horse, there comes a time when you just gotta call it good enough. But what is a nice thing to do is make sure that, you know, these are all free, lubed up, or clean is what I'm trying to say. That way, if they move that freely on there, you know they're going to be fine. You can kind of wipe on them. Just earlier today, they wouldn't even go. Now they're just itching to go down. All right, let's make sure all of these are in their little push rod cups. Get this the rest of the way down. They're still, I keep still seeing stuff I wish I could clean better, but I guess if we get it running, run it with the engine oil in it, and the engine oil will clean some of this out, and then we'll change it again. But remember, it's still got a crack in the block. We still got to deal with that if it proves itself out that it's going to be worth it. Nasty, nasty engine. Yeah, moo. It is nasty, isn't it, cow? Even the cow knows. Oh, well, I guess we'll go without the, we don't have any, yeah. These style towers are a lot more forgiving than the later ones, because the later ones are made of aluminum. And you will crack them, you know. As I warned my cousin that time when he was working on that gas 270, I said, don't over tighten them. Make sure you tighten them evenly or you'll break them. Sure enough, he called me and said, you got one of them on hand? Because he said I broke it. So these are a little bit more stout since they're cast. And again, I'm going to do a naughty thing. Don't do what I'm doing. Do what I say, not what I do. Oop, that was too much. We will torque these down now correctly. So what they're supposed to be. Oh, cow. I know you like attention, but do you have to go crazy? Are you still recording? I never know. Well, now the phone's ringing. Right at the most inconvenient time. Are you still there? A neighbor called. He was wanting to know about this salvage yard deal. I don't really know other than they sold out because they were supposedly over it. And it's a sad thing. I mean, there was a lot more value in that junkyard than to just throw it in a dumpster and melt it down. I mean, so much stuff lost. But anywho's, that's not our problem. Our problem is working on this one, trying to bring it back around. Now, we get to do my oh-so favorite fun part, and that is adjust valves. And if I'm thinking right, these should be 10 and 17. I'll double check and look it up, but I pretty well had those committed to memory, so. All right, is this the size? I can never remember. Yeah. All right, so we got that. We got our feeler gauge, which, why do they have to be rusty, you know? 11. That one's 10. All right. Now, we gotta do our twirly-gig thing. Gotta watch, like number 1, I'm gonna watch that one, I guess, because it's got a valve that's closing. I wasn't paying attention. Okay, that one closed. This one's just starting to open, so now we can do number 1. That's what I'm wanting. So, we'll start with this. Ooh, I bet this thing needs valve guides bad. Looks like it. That's pretty bad. She's gonna smoke, is what I'm saying. Yeah, she's gonna smoke a little, but that's okay. If they smoke a little, they're just a lot more fun. I really like that a little tighter. That's what she said. Yeah, that valve guide's pretty bad. All right, keep going though. No, dum-dum, you don't do it that way. Now we have to turn it. So we just did 1. So the next one we're going to adjust is 5. So we're going to watch this one, because you go by the pairs of the cylinders. When that next one, when this one starts to open that next valve, like there, now this one's ready to adjust. So this one's intake, and it's too tight. Maybe. Get in there. All right. That one's way too loose. That's the one that was stuck, I'm pretty sure. And we changed push rods, so obviously it would be way out of whack.
A few moments later.
something's not right here. That's not right. Oh, that sucks. It's a sad day when your tool breaks. Now we got to get that out of there without dropping it in something. The tip of my little screwdriver broke off of there. Wonder if you can still get that piece from Snap-on. Probably not. Oh well. Which one was I on? This one? Yeah, I'm gonna have to switch to the old school ways now, because that ain't gonna work. Well, somebody explain to me why this has to quit on me. That's obviously very stuck, I guess. That's stupid. I'm trying to help you, tractor, and you're making it a pain in the behind. All right, well, that was a detour down the road of sadness, was it not? We racked up another hour worth of stuff. We should now hunt up what we're gonna do for manifold situation, because as you may or may not recall, nothing came loose. Nothing came loose the correct way, and on top of that, we didn't have enough clamps anyway. I know I've got more clamps, but the thing's gonna be, can I find them? Can I find them? It's gonna take me a little bit to look. I didn't intend on taking this off, so I thought we could get by with running it like it was, but now we can't. I mean, the intakes are on there, so I guess we could, but it would just make sense to go ahead and do it the right way. All right, friends. Never know if you can see or not, but I found some used ones here. That's why you don't throw stuff away, because this type of situation that we're in right here might be the difference between us hearing it run today and not. So what I'm going to do is, looks to me like the intake ones, they're doing fine. Exhaust ain't doing so hot. I just want to hear it run. I want to hear. Well, that man of old junk. When your screwdriver knocks out a chunk of your manifold, you know it's real nice. I didn't find my clamps, but I got a solution for that too. Ignore it. Get in there, yo. Alright. Now this is going to be a trick, because they are not going to, yeah. They're going to fall all over the place while we try to do this. Alright, is it on the pins? Yes. Now, my clamp solution is going to be, we're going to move this one over here. Maybe we're going to move this one over here. What I was thinking was we'd just put a couple on one side and the other one on the other side, and that would get us today. There! Now this is going to just hang out in there. This one's actually going to go here where it was. Yes, bovines! That cow has got a major lonesome problem or something. Okay, hold. What did I do with Well, this is inappropriate, but I'm going to do it anyway, because it's the right size socket. Get in there. Boy, this Mickey Mouse setup. Oh, that stud's bent. That's what it is. Oh, this ain't gonna work at all. How can it be that it comes off one way and then you go to put it back on and it won't work at all? Also, I need another 3/8 fine thread nut, which we'll probably borrow one from the valve cover, because yeah. Come on. There's that. Jeez, this ain't going good at all. Boy, that's going to be questionable. Is it going to go? All right, I think we're ready. I think we've made a mess as far as we can go. We're gonna need that. We're gonna need to quickly tighten our spark plugs in. We didn't do that yet. We'll double check. This is 1. The next one should be 5. The next one should be 3. Next one should be 6. The next one should be 2. The next one should be 4. And back to 1. Coil wires in. Coil wires in the coil. Got to take our clamp off of our gas tank. We'll do that in a second. I need to be on the other side of the motor to run it anyway. Probably. Oh my goodness, wasn't this an adventure, friends? Hopefully the gas is flowing again. The hose is rounding back off like it should be. I'm gonna put that there. It's definitely leaking gas. Let's feed her the onions, friends. Here we go. Okay. Question is, are we getting spark? I question whether we really are, but I don't know. Sounds terrible. All right. Well, let's start pulling stuff apart again and see what we got. I mean, we don't know. I don't know. Hey, I don't think this is our problem. All right, we're gonna try to give this one more go. We've suffered a lot of setbacks here, but I don't know if I got enough juice or not to go. Okay, well, we got several problems. Number one, our governor linkage must not be anywhere close to right. Let's shut that down a little bit. That got to be out of hand in a hurry. Now let's try it. I had the gas shut off. Man, I don't know. I really want to have it run consistently, but yeah, we're out of juice. Dang it. But it did chuff a little bit. So I'm going to call that a win. The problem is all of our rickety rigged up stuff is just not up for the task. See, we should have been more prepared and not run our battery box down so far, but it did run. It ran. It started to go a little crazy, but it ran. We didn't have the fuel on, which amounts to pinching off the hose with this. So I'm wondering if the carburetor is dumping too much fuel. I don't know. I think of more of anything, it's probably a slight timing issue. It's not quite right. And we need to get, we need more juice. We need to really get it where we could start it from with the button, but I don't know. Too many things going here. I'm gonna have to figure out what to do to make it happen. All right, we're gonna try the jump pack with the long duty cycle. So we'll see if this don't give me the chance to. Of course, now I'm gonna have to start over on my ignition system here. It's getting mangled. Turn our fuel on again. Let's put that in there. And here we go. Uh-oh. That didn't work. Well, jumper cables are smoking. We're doing a little welding. Yeah, that's not safe. I think it's flooding. I think I got it a minute ago because I forgot to unpinch the gas. And I wonder if that's something to do with it. We're not guaranteed that that carburetor is excellent. Yeah, that ain't good. We're not going to stop till we totally ruin something. Dang it. All right, let's try it now. Okay, fuel delivery is our problem. Yep, there you go. Well, I would call that a run. Is it a successful run? I don't know. We're gonna call that quits before we do something dumb. We need to get it a little more better, but she's a runner, friends, and that sucker don't sound bad. I mean, as far as junkyard engines go that were stuck a few days ago, I can't complain. That sucker run pretty darn good. The only thing I don't like is it don't appear, well, that time maybe it did. I didn't think we were getting much oil pressure. We haven't got really anything up here yet, and it would be awfully nice to have oil pressure, you know? That's kind of an important piece to the puzzle. So we're gonna have to keep messing with it. Gonna have to see if we can get it to run for a good little bit, and then hopefully the oil pressure will climb up. I don't know if we take this filter loose. Yeah, it's definitely pumping. It's made a milky mess of everything. So yeah, definitely it's doing something oil pressure wise. We just have to make it better. I'd love to see it sit there and, you know, do the thing. If I take this off and go again, all we can do is blow ourselves up. Oh, and then we didn't do the thing that was important there. There. Be real cool if it would run a little slower. We'll try that and see if we can make it do that. I don't know. Yeah, that ain't working like I want it. She wants to run. Friend. She wants to run wide open, but she don't have no oil coming up yet. up here. It's not very good looking oil, but it's oil. So that's what I was after. All right. All right, friends, we're gonna call that here. I'm satisfied now. I've seen it do everything I wanted it to do, as in run pretty darn good, pump oil up here to our rockers. So I think we're on our way. We just need to finish up our, you know, make it right so we can actually try to run it for a while. And once we do that, why then we'll try to drive it and everything. We got work to do back there too, but it's good enough now. It's got oil pressure, it runs good. It's good enough now that I'll buy some parts for it. Yeah, it's got a crack in the block, but we can fix that. There's choices of things to do, and that doesn't scare me. I've had others that are that way, and we can make it more better. But I thought that was a pretty darn good sounding engine for something that was in the junkyard. I mean, what more do you want? You know, that tractor was in the junkyard for over 20 years and flipped upside down a day or so ago, and now it's running. So yeah, I think we did our part to save something, and I'm happy. So we're gonna call this one here. Hopefully there's footage that you found interesting. I don't know, but we got one running. I mean, that just makes me smile. Over 20 years in the junkyard, and now she's a runner. So awesome. Do you suffer from low intelligence and are easily entertained? Well, then hit that thumbs up button and leave a comment, and that way we can keep making entertainment that your feeble minds can understand. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.